Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how you can attempt writing task 1, and I will be giving you some of the tips, tricks and the advice, so definitely it is going to be very helpful for you to boost and increase your overall band score. So let's talk about the third section of IELTS exam, which is called writing task. And for the writing you will be given two tasks. Task 1 is of 20 minutes while task 2 is of 40 minutes. I mean, definitely time is not distributed, but at the same time it's very important for you to divide the time. So here is my advice: don't invest more than 20 minutes on the task 1 and don't invest more than 40 minutes on the task 2, because if you will invest more than 40 minutes for the task 2 you will get less time for the task 1, and if you will invest more than 20 minutes for the task 1, so if you will get less time for the task 2, and task 2 is a bit more crucial than task 1, so I don't think you should invest more time on task 1 rather than on the task 2. So without wasting any time, let's just get started. Let's talk about task 1. So it differs for academics and for general training test as well. If you are appearing for general training exam, you could be asked to write either a formal letter or an informal letter. It can be in the form of conversation, letter, application, informal conversation if you are having to whomsoever you are concerned with. It can be your friend, it can be your family, it can be a part of your family members as well, right? But at the same time, if I talk about from academics point of view, it is only formal, right? You will be given some data on your screen and you will be asked to write a structured answer based on the data that has been given to you. So it can be in the form of any chart like pie chart, bar graph, histogram, bar graph, or else it can be in the form of map, right? You will be given or you will be shown an image, and based on that image you have to write your answers. So I will tell you about it later on that how you can do that part as well. Let's understand task 1. So if I talk about different kinds of charts, so I have already told you that okay, there are different forms of chart that are available and that is present. So it is very prudent for you guys to go with each and every chart. 20 minutes, as I have told you already, that is best for task 1, and you have to write at least 150 words. You can write more than 150 words as well, but don't use more than 200 words. There are 4 points that we need to present in our writing task 1, which are overview, explaining the main features, explaining the major trend, and also try to give detailed explanation, which is a part of body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. We have to note that writing task 1 will be very objective, which means that we can't include any information that are not presented by the paragraph or the graph. In point 1 to 3 or in paragraph 1, we will explain the graph in a very general sense. Don't include percentage explanation about the increase and decrease, etc., because these are too specific to be included in paragraph 1. The detailed explanation will be covered in point 4 of the paragraph 2 and 3. And for the body paragraph, you can use that the bar graph shows either or else it presents, indicates, depicts, explains. So try to use different synonyms. You can also change the word or the order. I will tell you about it later on in the video. You can also change the form of the word and also change from active to passive voice. For example, remember that all the words which I have said to you actually have the same meaning. This is a paraphrasing whose aim is to help you demonstrate your vocabulary range and accuracy. If you already use the word show in the first paragraph, then don't use it again in the next paragraph. Don't use the same word over and over again because it will decrease your score. Now, after introducing the paragraph, you will need to paraphrase the original title. For example, the title for you is Different Types of Transportation Chosen to Go to Work and Return from Work in One European City. So try to change each and every word of the title that has been given to you. Right. If I talk about this part that you have to change from active to passive voice, so changing to infinite phrase to a gerund phrase. For example, changing noun phrase or else into noun of noun like city, changing an active sentence into a passive sentence and vice versa. Passive voice is opposite of active voice in which object becomes the center of discussion. Active voice concerns more about the object of a sentence. Then complex sentences. Complex is just a label and it is not a description. In the modern world, global warming is one of the most popular topics, causing environmental difficulties and tough challenges arising from its serious consequences. Now, if I talk about, okay, let's skip this part. This is not important. Now, how to write overview. So don't use percentages or the data that has already been given to you. Try to use general sentences, right? If you are facing any problem for the overview, so you can also refer to templates. There are different writing templates that has already been available, but at the same time I will not suggest you to go through each and every material that is already available on the different websites. Why? Because this material has not been approved either by British Council or by IDP. So choose your material wisely. Try to select only those materials which has already been approved by any one council. So based on task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resources and grammatical range and accuracy, examiner is going to give you marks. What is task achievement? Task achievement basically is about 3 to 4 different parameters. How many words have you used? Have you given the introduction and conclusion? Have you write everything in the body paragraphs 1 and 2? Then lexical resources. Lexical resources basically means that what range of the grammar was and what kind of sentences you have given, what they structure sentences or not. If you will make grammatical mistakes, so definitely your marks are going to be deducted. Try to use different synonyms. Don't try to repeat each and every word for the task 1 as well as for the task 2 as well. Achievement. It refers to your ability to answer the question properly. You will get a higher score if you will select the main key features of the graph, chart, map or process. So you should always write a clear overview that includes the main key features like main trends, differences, stages, etc. of the graph, chart, map or a process. Support them with correct accurate detail. Write at least 150 words and don't write more than 200 words. Try to not give your personal opinion. You can give your personal opinion for the task 2, but don't give personal opinion here in the task 1. Now, many students don't know what a coherence and cohesion is. So coherence refers to your ability to connect your main ideas together so that they make sense and are easy to understand, while cohesion, on the other hand, it refers to the connection of ideas at sentence and paragraph level. Let's talk about lexical resource. It refers to your ability to use vocabulary both accurately and appropriately. Now, the problem with many students is what they do is they try to fit different vocabulary words which they know and which they have prepared for, but at the same time if you do think that okay, here word is not prudent and it is not going with the sentence, so don't try to use different words unnecessarily where where there are chances that you will get few bands, right? So don't try to use unnecessarily words out of the context just because you know them. It is very important to keep in mind that even though it is being preferred to use different vocabulary words, but at the same time, if you will not use vocabulary words both accurately and appropriately, then the grammar, from grammatical point of view, that sentence will become incorrect. And if the sentence will become incorrect, so there are chances that you will not get the marks which you were thinking to get. You will always get a higher score for vocabulary if you paraphrase the questions accurately, vary your vocabulary using synonyms, avoid vocabulary mistakes, spell words correctly, use appropriate vocabulary to describe trends, comparisons, stages, changes, and etc. Let's talk about grammatical range and accuracy. You will get a higher score if you don't make any errors, use a range of appropriate tenses, use a range of appropriate structures, use both simple and complex sentences, and use correct pronunciation. Now, what is the difference between a simple and a complex tense? Here I will tell you the difference between a simple and a complex sentence. Let me think. Okay. For example, I am telling any situation which can have a bad impact on someone. So, if I have to use a simple tense, what I will say is, don't do it. This activity will ruin you and your life. So don't try to imitate the scene. Don't try to imitate the actions. So this is something which is simple sentence. If I have to convert the same sentence into complex sentence, what I will say is, what are you doing? This is not something which you look up to for, because that can have a direct impact on you and your life. So that is something complex sentence, right? Let's talk about more for the task 1. So there are different multiple charts and the graphs which can be asked. It can be in the form of bar graph, histogram, pie chart. It can be math lessons question as well. It can be process lesson questions as well. In the later part we will discuss each and everything in detail. So you need to understand how the test is marked so that you can give the examiners what they want. Always paraphrase the question in your first paragraph and try to use different synonymous words. Don't use the same words which has already been given to you in the title. Write the overview. Pick out 3 or 4 of the main features and write about them, generally without any data. Spot the main features you included in your overview with detail. There should be a separate paragraph using accurate data from the chart. And also, I forgot to mention here one more thing. You should always clear with the fact that, okay, there is another video which I am going to make, 21 rules of using comma. So you should always go with that as well, because nowadays many students, they don't know how and where to use comma. So definitely, if you will not use comma, the probability will increase that the sentence can be wrong according to the grammar rules. And also check your work, make sure you have no grammar or spelling mistakes, your data is accurate, and that you have varied your vocabulary. If you are going for a pen and paper based test, so definitely you should write each and every sentence very accurately so that it can be understood by the examiner. If you are going through computer based test, so definitely, it is not like that what we do in Grammarly or a word software, where we will get the notification every time we will do mistakes by highlighting green or a red index underline. It is not going to happen on the D-Day. So you have to be very so sure about the mistakes. Don't do spelling mistakes, right? So try to give responses in less than 15 minutes for the task 1, and for the task 2 try to give all the responses in 30 minutes, so that you will get 10 extra minutes to review what you did right for the task 2, and also you will get extra 5 to 10 minutes for the task 1 as well, so that you can review and you can change your work later on. Chart lessons. Let's talk about different kinds of the chart questions. It can be in the form of line graph, bar chart, pie chart, and proportional bar chart. map lessons. So map lessons, like either they can ask you describe one map in the present day, or describe two maps, one in the present and one in the future, or else they can ask you describe the difference between a past situation and how it has changed in the present situation. So you should say about the general changes, then you can say about specific changes, and you can also describe about locations, right? So you have to keep three things in mind when it comes to maps question: general changes, specific changes, location changes, right? Multiple charts and bar graphs. Basically, multiple charts and graphs are asked for a particular situation where there is a problem and solutions, right? So first of all, you have to dictate problems, and then you should indicate what can be a solution for them. Let's talk about a process lessons. So this is the image which has been shown on my screen, and the diagram shows how electricity Let's talk about process lessons. Different types of process questions. So it can be in the form of natural or man-made as well. Let's talk about the diagram below, which shows that how electricity is produced in a nuclear power station. So there are 11 different processes, and you should explain about each and everything. It is written that containment building, then steam generators, steam pipes, uranium fuels, turbine, generator, transformer, cooling tower, cooling water source, cooling water, and electricity. Okay, so what you can say about this is, so the main function of cooling tower is to release the gases, and also the main function of cooling tower is to cool the liquid for the expansion process. The main function of the cooling water is to decrease the overall temperature of the equipment and overall temperature of the raw material as well. Raw material, if I talk about here, it is in the form of liquid. The last step is electricity. So this nuclear power station is about how you can produce electricity. So your last step should be, so in this way we would be able to produce electricity followed by these 10 steps, right? And your introduction can be, so this is something where we can start the process from the containment building, and for that there are different equipments that needs to be used, like steam generators in one of them. What is a steam generator? It is nothing but it is a heating and heat, and I'm not able to recall. It is one of the heat transfer device which is used to generate heat. So there are many forms in which steam can be generated. We can also use boilers here, we can also use superheaters here, we can also use economizer here, right? So the main function of these heating equipment is to convert the liquid into a supersaturated liquid, right? Then followed by uranium fuels. So they act as a nuclear reactors, right? They increase the overall chain reaction. So something in this structured way, definitely you can write your responses very well. If I talk about photosynthesis process, so it is a general process which shows that how plants make their food, and you can also explain how plants take oxygen by releasing carbon dioxide as well. And for that you can also say that during the daytime they absorb energy in the form of light or a heat from sun, which is a natural form of energy to perceive from them. And then there are 2 to 3 different phases in which this process whole takes place, like chlorophyll absorbs green wavelength from the sun, making plants look green as well. Oxygen and water vapor exit the leaf through stomata, and water loss from leaves is called transpiration. So in this way, try to give the structured answer. Always it is required to overview the process. Is it a man-made or a natural process? How many stages are there? What is produced? Where does it start and where does it end? Is it cyclical or linear? Cyclical basically means that after reaching through the end product, we again reach to a point where we did started, right? Are there any materials added or not? Let's talk about the details of the process. So you should say always what each stage does, what it produces, if any materials are added, discuss the relationship with the previous or subsequent stages. This is a very important step which you have to keep in your mind, that always try to form a relationship with the previous either or else for the subsequent stages, and it will be also helpful for you to write the sentence in a structured manner. That was the end from my side. If you do have any more doubts, please write in the comment section. If you are new to the channel, please follow me, please subscribe to my channel, please like all the videos. A few days back I started this channel and this is still a growing channel, so I would